Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today, Floyd Studio album finals in a bag. And we're pretty much just gonna be ranking the albums of the Beatles. So let's get in with number 13. Number 13 is Yellow Submarine. I have it on vinyl right here. Yellow Submarine, this side is all, there's a side of whole instrumentals and only 4 original tracks because they also had a re-release of Yellow Submarine and All You Need Is Love on here, of course, from Revolver and Magical Mystery Tour. The 4 new songs they add on are only a Northern Song, which I actually quite enjoy. Altogether Now, which I think is very overrated, and I really like it. And Hey Bulldog is the best song on this album. Then we hit It's All Too Much, and I know many people like the song, but I'm not one of them. I'm just saying right now, It's All Too Much is just a little too crazy, a little too wacko experimental. So, number 13, and I thought I'd show off my pressings of all the vinyl, since I didn't do that in my live stream, because, I didn't even know how to do a live stream on this channel. This is one of the ones I wanted to get in more. It comes with, literally, it comes with a lyric sleeve of some sort right here that you could just like put the record in from right here, and this could hold your record. And obviously you can tell the record's very shiny, even though I got it like in December. And it's in the original black sleeve, because that's actually kind of rare now. I think it only is on the Yellow Submarine. And then of course the Apple label, because this one was released after the White Album. Everything White Album after is like the Apple label, and then everything before it isn't. So, yeah. I just think it's cool to show off some of my vinyl that I really don't go in depth on in my videos, because I try to keep my live streams to a short, because I see people doing that 4 hour long live stream. I'm really not trying to do that on this channel. Anyways, we now have a new thing to do. We have best of years on Monday. We have live streams on Wednesday, full album reviews on Friday, and ranked on Sunday. So, on to number 12. Yes, you know it's true. So my number 12 here is Beatles for Sale. Now, Beatles for Sale is the band's 4th album. I forgot to mention Yellow Submarines was their band's 11th album, and they really didn't have anything to do with this one, but this one was the 4th album released in 21 months by the Beatles. Unlike that album, the Beatles had full control of this, and this thing has 6 covers, 8 originals, and I guess let's just get into the songs. There's 14 songs on here, and all the covers, I didn't really like them. Honey Don't and Everybody's Trying to Be My Baby are some of my least favorite Beatles songs ever released. Rock and Roll Music. And then we also had Mr. Moonlight. I like both of those, as well as Words of Love. I kind of lost a little bit of my feeling towards the Kansas City Hey 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 medley. But from the originals, I mean, there's Every Little Thing, which I kind of find cool because Paul McCartney wrote it, but John sang lead vocals on it. So yeah, I think my favorite songs on here are, well, obviously some of the covers I mentioned, but my favorite originals are Mr. Moonlight. I mean, Fridge. I mean, No Reply, I'm a Loser, Babies in Black. There's also What You're Doing, which might be my favorite song on the album. Besides 8 Days a Week, of course. Can't forget about that one. There's also I'll Follow the Sun, which is a very light-hearted song, and then there's also I Don't Want to Spoil the Party, which is a negative song all the time, but it is a pretty decent one as well. Overall, if they didn't have covers in this thing would probably be higher than my number 11 spot. But you know it's time for showing off the vinyl. This I got in January. You can tell it's very nice and very sparkly. There is a gatefold sleeve for some reason. A gatefold sleeve on Beatles for sale. I don't think it deserves it, but you know. But it's surprisingly they don't really do anything with the gatefold sleeve except for add a big mural picture on it. And then there was, of course, one fold out side that has the record in a white paper sleeve this time. And then this thing has the Parlophone label on it because this was released before the White Album. And the Hey Jude single was the first thing released on Apple, which is the Beatles' record label. So yeah. Fun fact, I got into the Beatles by listening to Abbey Road 10 times straight for a whole week. I don't know why. I just told myself eh, that it wouldn't be as bad as I thought it would be, and then at the end, I just came out loving the Beatles, loving the Beatles, and then of course I got all their vinyls, and then I got all their songs on CD, and then I looked them up on Spotify, and now they're in my saved playlist. The Beatles have been one of my favorite bands for quite a bit. Number 12, Beatles for Sale. On to number 11. That's what I want. So number 11 is Beatles' second UK release, With the Beatles. This thing is my most recent Beatles record and my fifth most recent record. And I got it in February. This was released in the later part of 1963. Again, 8 originals, 6 covers, except for the covers on here aren't really that good either. There's a song I really don't like, Until There Was You. I really don't like that song for some reason. All Over Beethoven is another one. Out of the originals, my least favorite has to be I Want to Be Your Man. I know singing voice just isn't that good on that one. Favorites on here? I like some of the covers, like Money, That's What I Want, Devil in Her Heart, and Please Mr. Postman. Besides that, the originals also hold a big thumbs up. At the first 4 songs. The first 5 songs I really enjoy. I know Little Child really isn't involved with many people's favorite Beatles songs, but it is on mine. Also, you got George Harrison's first debut, Don't Bother Me, Paul McCartney's first song on the album, All My Loving, and then 2 John Lennon led tracks, All I've Got to Do and It Won't Be Long. There's also Hold Me Tight, which I know, and Not a Second Time, which I like, but I know many people don't like. So, which the Beatles overall, and you know what time it is? It's time to show you the record. This one's a little less glossy, probably because it was used when I got it, but anyways. With the Beatles, I mean, this is usually like the most predictable bottom 3. You see this on many people's lists. You know, you see the With the Beatles, or say With the Beatles, and Yellow Submarine. But that's really natural because, to be honest, this is just their most weakest albums in a lot of people's opinion, including mine. I know many people put Beatles for Sale. Some people put Beatles for Sale up higher, and that's pretty cool. At least they can get into it more than I can, although I still do enjoy it. Um, but overall, the bottom 3 albums show the weakest batches of songs. So that was it for the Beatles. Now on to number. That's at number 11. Now on to number 10. So my number 10 might be a little bit of a surprise. It's the final Beatles album release, Let It Be from 1970. There's just a little bit. It's way raw. It's almost as raw. It is as raw as Please Please Me, their first album. This is like their most rawest album since. Anyways, there's some not so good material on it. Songs like One After 909, For You Blue, Ticket, Maggie May. But I do love songs like Pony Across the Universe, I Mean Mine, Let It Be, of course. You can't forget about that song. Get Back, I Got a Feeling. The Long and Winding Road, I've never really like loved it, but I do like the song still. Also, I really love the back. So also, I really find out that on the vinyl version, this Apple logo changes. Like, this is the only thing that does it, but this Apple logo changes, like, colors. So, it's pretty cool. Anyways, this is a December release. I got this, this is the remastered version from 2009. And the Apple label, of course, is on a heavyweight vinyl. This was their final album release. I think they put all their good songs into the album. Some of the albums put in before, like the White Album and Abbey Road. Personally, Yellow Submarine and Let It Be, or just, yeah, I know Yellow Submarine was just made of songs that the Beatles weren't really a fan of themselves, but Let It Be, I think they just put all of their better songs from the Let It Be sections into Abbey Road than Let It Be itself. Although, there are some good songs on here, like the classics. Anyway, number 10, Let It Be. Now we go on to number 9. Come on, come on, come on, come on. So my number 9 is the debut album by the Beatles, Please Please Me. So we go from the ending album by the Beatles to the beginning album by the Beatles. I think the thing that gets this the edge up above Let It Be is the youthful energy on it, because this is when they were. This was in 1963. Let It Be was released in 1970s. So that's pretty cool. Favorite songs on here, again, 8 original, 6 covers. Out of the covers, I really like A Taste of Honey, Chains, Twist and Shout. Other songs like Baby It's You, Boys are just, I mean, I kind of like Boys. Anna Go Tim is a very underrated gem, but especially Baby It's You. And the originals, by far my least favorite songs on here are Maybe It's You, the cover, Ask Me Why, and Do You Want to Know a Secret, which are both originals. Favorite songs on here? I think the covers I mentioned, like Chains. Uh, there's also a Taste of Honey, as I mentioned, Twist and Shout. There's a Place is again another one of my favorites. That one's always mentioned. Please Please Me, I Saw Her Standing There, Misery, and a Go Jam. You keep Boys, you can name a whole bunch, drop a whole bunch. P.S. I Love You is my favorite song on here, and then you can't forget about the always classic Love Me Do on here. This pretty much has the singles and then 10 songs that they recorded on one day. That's right. They literally recorded. They went in the studio February 11th and recorded 10 songs, and then they ended up releasing the album only a month later. You can tell it's very raw. And also, look at this. This is a Parlophone label. This is the old Parlophone label before even With the Beatles became a thing. I find that really cool. They used to have a gold label on their record. I think it's pretty neat though that they keep changing. That some records have some changed things. Uh, but the thing that holds this one back is, I don't know, maybe the lack that the longest song on here is Anna Go to Him and I Saw Her Standing There, and they were both underinstrument songs. I don't know. Maybe my complaint is that it's too short. Number 10, please. Number 9, Please Please Me. Now on to number 8. Alright. So my number 8 is their third album and first soundtrack album, A Hard Day's Night. This is a very great album. It was their first excellent masterpiece album. This is the UK version I have. I didn't really want to go for the US version, as in this timeline, the early Beatles timeline, they were releasing different versions in the US and UK. The US version had just instrumentals, and I didn't really like that, so. Anyways, favorite songs on here are there's no covers, so I don't have to I tried to mention that. This is the first album with no covers, and the only pre-Rubber Soul album with no covers. I mentioned it. Anyways, favorite songs on here: If I Fell, I'm Happy Just to Dance with You, and I Love Her, I'll Cry Instead, Things We Said Today, You Can't Do That, and I'll Be Back. Least favorite song? Well, I have a couple. I don't really like the smash hits like A Hard Day's Night and Can't Buy Me Love. I think it's hurt them too much. That's pretty much it, though. The other songs I'm in between about, like When I Come Home, Anytime at All, Tell Me Why, and the other song is I Should Have Known Better. So now let's dig deeper and let's the vinyl and talk about the movie. Well, the movie, it was on demand. If you have Spectrum, it was on demand in late June, a month ago. Around a month ago, it was on for 2 weeks, and then until middle July, and then I got to watch it, and it's an essential comedy film. It's the first Beatles film, so they had to add a star in there, and it was a great star. Uh, I really recommend this movie. It's almost as a, it's like I think it might be. It's my second favorite Beatles movie. Yeah, I like one more Beatles movie better. Like I like three. I love three of the Beatles movies. The other one I don't really like at all. But we'll get to that. As you saw, the Parlophone label was on the Hard Day's Night album, and I got all the 2009 remasters except for Abbey Road, Sgt. Pepper's, and Magical Mystery. Not Abbey Road. The White Album, Sgt. Pepper's, and Magical Mystery Tour were the only ones I didn't get the 2009 remaster of. I have, and I'll talk about that when I get to those albums. But number 8, Hard Day's Night. Now on to number 7. Today, love was such an easy. So my number 7 is Help, the Beatles' fifth studio album, UK studio album, and second soundtrack album. This is my favorite Beatles movie right here. You should check this out. The plot is all jumbled up. So if you like better plots, go check out the Hard Day's Night movie. But I also like the album more, so I think I just like Help a little bit more than Hard Day's Night overall. Anyways, let's cover the album first. Favorite songs on here? I really don't have a least favorite, except for the last two songs. I think Yesterday, I think I just heard it way too much to enjoy it as much as I can anymore. And Dizzy Miss Lizzie's always been my least favorite song on this album, so yeah. There's also maybe I've heard You've Got to Hide Your Love Away a couple more times, but I mean, I still enjoy listening to Yesterday and You've Got to Hide Your Love Away. Dizzy Miss Lizzie's the only stinker on this album. And I love this at the rest of this album. There's Help, Ticket to Ride, I Need You, Another Girl. George Harrison has I Need You and Like Me Too Much, which I also love. Paul McCartney had I've Just Seen a Face, and I love that one, as well as Another Girl and The Night Before. I love both of those. You're Going to Lose That Girl was a great harmonizing vocal piece and my favorite song on this album. Overall. That Naturally is a very country-esque song, and I think that this song actually works with what Ringo is made to do. It's Only Love. John Lennon didn't really like the song, even though he wrote it. He said the lyrics were crap. I actually really enjoyed this song as well. One of my favorites on this album, top 5 for sure. Now let's go a little bit more in depth here. The film is pretty much the plot. I'm not going to tell you it, but let's just say I really enjoy it. I really recommend it. It's really funny. It's even more of a comedy film with that goes all over crazy more than Hard Days and Nights. And Hard Days, this thing has way more better jokes, and overall has a kind of funny concept, low-key to be honest. Anyway, the vinyl has a Parlophone label on it on both sides because it was released and it's a part of the early Beatles saga. This is my favorite early Beatles pre-Rubber Soul album. As you can tell, many fans think that the post-Rubber Soul album is better. I mean, I'm one of them, as there's 6 really good albums ahead that I still have yet to cover. In fact, really great albums. But number 7, Help. Now on to number 6. My number 6 is Magical Mystery Tour. We hit the first of the albums that I don't have a 2009 remaster copy of, as this is an original US copy. As it says, that's how the US used to monitor them. It's literally just under the Beatles. And it says Beatles Magical Mystery Tour. This is an original 67 copy. This album was released November 21st, 1967, I do believe. Late November 1967. And is one of the worst movies I've ever seen, and their third movie soundtrack. Yellow Submarine was their fourth, and I really enjoyed Yellow Submarine as a movie. Like, Yellow Submarine, Help, and Hard Day's Night were great movies. This movie sucked. I don't recommend it. But if you want to watch it, it's literally full on YouTube. So just type up the Beatles Magical Mystery Tour full movie, and you can find it, I think. Unless if it got taken down to copyright strike. Anyways, this is another gatefold sleeve, as you can tell. Look at this back cover. That looks so psychedelic, right? And then the front cover, of course. Now, this includes, I'll just go in the package now. This includes a 24-page booklet, literally, like, built into the album. First, you see the song listing of the album, and then the film credits, and then who made the album and stuff, and some artwork. Then you pretty much just see pictures of the recording of the album and the movie. So, yeah. Just skip to the end of that since that'd be way too long. And then the song lyrics of the original 6 songs that were supposed to be on here, except for there's one missing, and you'll find out why when I start talking about songs. Anyways, let's get into the songs. By the way, you can tell, this is the only Capitol record. This is one of the 2 only Capitol record pressings I have, as that was the Beatles' US thing, and I didn't really like them, but they made a really kick-ass version of Magical Mystery Tour. Let's get into the songs. There was no covers, as usual, but there were some stinkers. Songs like Flying, Blue Jay Way, Can't Forget About, Baby or Rich Man, which many people like. Personally, I don't. I find them very, very weak. Very weak. There's also songs like Magical Mystery Tour and I Am the Walrus. Hello, Goodbye. That are just mediocre. This is made of cardboard. Straight up cardboard. Best songs on here, obviously, the songs I didn't mention. Your Mother Should Know, Fool on the Hill. Both of them were by Paul McCartney. Also Penny Lane by Paul McCartney. All You Need Is Love and Strawberry Fields Forever by John Lennon. Both of those were by Lennon, and those are like in my 5 favorite Beatles songs ever. So comment down below if you think I should do something other than music. I don't know, maybe I could get into like movie reviews or something. I would definitely review the Beatles movies. This, spoiler alert, would not get high. Anyway, number 6 on the album rankings, Magical Mystery Tour. Also, I forgot to mention, this was just supposed to be these 6 songs, and if it was, it'd be at the bottom of the list. But instead, they added a side 2, so they made it a flaw. Yeah. On to the top number 5. Friends, I still can. My number 5 is the UK version of their sixth studio album, Rubber Soul. This is I have something else to show you about Rubber Soul next on Wednesday. When make sure you check out the live stream. But Rubber Soul is like the start of the best part of the Beatles' career. The Magical Mystery Tour was like the end. There were great songs littered all over this album. I mean, the only stinker on here is Girl. At this point, I really just don't like that song anymore. Songs like Norwegian Wood and Think for Yourself are really great and show the Beatles going more ways. Same thing with In My Life. You Won't See Me and I'm Looking Through You, two great Paul McCartney songs about then girlfriend Jane Asher. We have Drive My Car, which is about some naughty things. Wrong for Your Life, which is pretty much just a filler song to John Lennon. He stated that this was his least favorite Beatles song, although it's not mine. I really quite enjoy it. If I Needed Someone has really great guitars, almost like the Byrds, and George Harrison really made it good. The piano work on the Word is awesome. Nowhere Man's guitar work and harmonies are great. Girl is my least favorite. It's just cringy. What Goes On is another one of those country tunes that Ringo does, and I think this one is better than Act Naturally from Help. Although many people don't like it, it's harmonized with John and Paul. And the final song I get to talk about is Michelle, which is just a way better version of a Girl, written by Paul McCartney. And then it's a Spanish song. If you guys know, if you've heard the album, especially Michelle, it's a Spanish song. So, also, fun fact, a bunch of these songs made it on the Beatles' Red Album. Let's take a look at the album quickly and look at how glossy it is. December, thing. I got most of my Beatles records in December. As you can tell, obviously, it's also in the white paper. But, let's talk more about the album. Have you ever heard of songs like In My Life, Think for Yourself, and Norwegian Wood? They pushed the band to higher success as In My Life has a sped up piano solo, even though to make it sound like a harmonium. The fuzz bass got introduced like to everyone on planet Earth on Think for Yourself, which is ironically my favorite Beatles song ever, made by George Harrison. So, along with In My Life is my second favorite Beatles song. And then, of course, can't forget about the sitar on getting introduced on Norwegian Wood, aka The Spurious Flown as well. Also, this cover art is very dreamy and psychedelic. The printer apparently failed miserably when the Beatles revealed its this cover art. And then, of course, the poster is back. Normal. Rubber Soul is number 5. Now on to number 4. Someone. So my number 4 is the massive 30-song album known as the White Album. Mine is the embossed The Beatles on it. And this is pretty much some gold award for the thing. Mine doesn't have a serial number. This is the 80s UK pressing. Nice. As you can tell, it's gone through some things. It's gone through some wear and tear, but overall, it still plays like a dream. Sadly, it doesn't. It has a gatefold and even the original lyric poster. which I'm not going to take up. It doesn't have the photos. At least we get these great images and then song titles over there. This was the first album released on Apple Records. This was released in November 19th, and you can tell this was their first Apple release. You can tell that this album is fantastic piece. The second you put the needle on and you hear Back in the USSR. Back in the USSR is a great tune written by Sir Paul McCartney about, well, going back to the USSR. This is a heavy rock tune, and fun fact, Ringo was not in the studio for the first two songs on this album, so they put Paul McCartney and then clips of John Lennon and George Harrison playing the drums on, and then yeah, and also George Martin and Jeff Emmerich, the engineer and of course the producer of the album, quite as well permanently, except for George Martin eventually came back to do Abbey Road, of course. But Jeff Emmerich was done with the Beatles after this. You could tell that he was done. He couldn't deal with all the arguing. Then we have Dear Prudence, which is a soft ballad-like tune written by John Lennon. It's one of my favorites on this album. I wouldn't say my exact 100% favorite, but it's still a kick-ass song. Another song that is the next song is Glass Onion, also by John Lennon, and it's very sarcastic, like I Am the Walrus. Those songs were pretty much just made because the John Lennon didn't like the fact that teachers were forcing their kids in class to research the meaning of the Beatles lyrics. I mean, who would like that? That's kind of weird, look, to be honest. If you're a teacher teaching your kids to do that, that's kind of weird. There's Obla Di Obla Da, which literally split the band apart. There's Wild Honey Pie, which is just, nah, no, no. The continuing story of Bungalow Bill is a weird tune written by Sir Lennon about a tiger hunting contest, of course. She didn't like that. While My Guitar Gently Weeps is George Harrison's most popular tune, aside, maybe. I mean, there's two songs on Abbey Road. They're really good by him, too. And then there's three other songs, and Ringo sings twice on here, and this is his first writing credit. His other one is also on Abbey Road. Yeah. Next tune is Happiness is a Warm Gun, and this is, again, top 5 of a 30-song album for me. I really enjoyed this song. One, all the way, the back cover just has a barcode in as always. It's another song, Martha, My Dear, I Still Love More. I mean, I probably just listened to it too much. Although I do like the strings and the piano mixed with Paul vocals. There is I'm So Tired, which is a great bluesy rock tune by John Lennon about how he's tired. Blackbird is a Paul McCartney acoustic song, which is many people's favorite, along with my aunt's. Then there is Piggies, which is a weird song by George Harrison. It's just weird, although it is pretty decent. Rocky Raccoon is a country song written by Paul McCartney, and it's pretty much just goes over the character of a Rocky Raccoon who eventually dies at the end of the song. But what I find interesting here is that Paul's vocals are different on this, especially this album, than any of the other, especially on this song than any other song on this album. It's like he's getting into his Ringo Starr mind. I'm joking. Definitely not. Speaking of which, Ringo Starr writes the next song, Don't Pass Me By. Again, it's one of the most controversial songs for the line, You were in a car crash, and you lost your hair, which is alluding to the Paul is dead theorist, which I'm not going to talk about because that claim is just stupid and bogus. There is Why Don't We Do in the Road, which is just, no. I mean, it's a rock song, it's a hard rock one, but There is 2 sets of lyrics over the whole around 2 minute long song, besides the same drum beat. Then there's a sweet acoustic pop song by Paul McCartney, I Will. And then a song later has a part of that was supposed to be on I Will but wasn't added on. Side 1 or disc 1 is on Julia, which is just an all John Lennon acoustic track about his mom who died in a car crash when he was in his kid years. And then we start off with Birthday. Fun fact, they took time off to see this movie, and then they came back energized and wrote Birthday. A really fun fact. Then we have Your Blues, which is just a bluesy blues rock John Lennon song. He does a lot of that on this album. Same thing with what Paul does next, Mother Nature's Son, which is very acoustic and pop. Oh boy. If I This next we have the longest song title I've ever had to say in my life. Everybody's got something to hide except me and my monkey. And this song is another rock song by John Lennon. John Lennon also has the next track, Sexy Sadie, which is my favorite track, possibly it's my third favorite Beatles track ever released. As I really love the fact that the piano is the main instrument on it. Helter Skelter is the next song, and we're not going to talk about what happened in 1969 because I didn't want to spread negativity on my channel. Anyways, Paul wrote this about a slide. This is the first metal this is the first metal song Paul McCartney made metal. A thing. Game. Paul McCartney made metal. The guy who writes acoustic pop songs wrote a metal song. That's pretty awesome. Then that side closes with Long, 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 which turns out to be George Harrison's very spooky piece, but of course the ending being the spookiest side to Revolution 9. But that's a song we'll get to later. Yeah. The final side opens up with Revolution 1, which is pretty much just a slowed down version of Revolution, which they released that year. It was the first version of Revolution recorded, but it was too slow, so they recorded the single version. And then, of course, Revolution 9 was made of the tape loops and extra stuff that they had to cut off Revolution 1 to make it a single, but it was just too slow to be a single, so yeah. Honey Pie is our next track, and it's way too McCartney. It's so McCartney. It's way too McCartney. Savoy Truffle is our next track, and it's George Harrison's hard rock song. A George Harrison hard rock song on the album. And again, Eric Clapton had a lot of influence on George Harrison. This is about his sweet tooth. He actually played guitar for the first time ever, and the only time ever of someone else playing guitar. And then, of course, the singing of McCartney, and then we have Cry Baby Cry. This is the 28th out of 30 track. This is a piano-led tune by John Lennon, sometimes with Paul McCartney in there. But at the end, there's a Paul McCartney snippet, which was recorded in the sessions for I Will, called Can You Take Me Back. That goes into my least favorite Beatles song ever, Revolution 9. As I said, it was just the extra tape loops and stuff taken off of Revolution 1. Because I don't know why. And then Good Night closes this album, and it was written by John Lennon, but sung by Ringo Starr. It's a great closer, and it's a nice lullaby with strings, except for I kind of wish that the backing vocals were by the Beatles themselves, except for the strings. Anyway, sorry that it went on a little bit too long, but number 4, The White Album. Now on to number 3. So we enter the top 3 with my number 3, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, and this is an original 1967 U.S. copy As you can tell, the UK copy and the newer editions don't have this border around it that says stereo. As you can tell, this is also original. It's really beat up and stuff. But yeah, the songs on here are really fantastic. And plus, this was the first album to have lyrics on, like, made on the back of it. As you can tell, this is like one of the most iconic Beatles pictures ever made. You could tell that. Look at that beautiful man. It comes with. Mine didn't come with the original inner sleeve because apparently the guy that got it took it out. But mine comes with a complete version of the cutouts, which I haven't used yet, even though I got this album in freaking late October. This is one of my earliest album pickups ever. I started collecting in like June of last year, so it's been a whole year of collecting records. Yeah. This is the other Capitol record. As I said, this was a U.S. release. This is one of the only two US I have. It's ironic that I only have the 1967 albums in US, but this is when the US albums started to get better. Except for this one isn't really that better. It's the same as the UK original, but yeah, things will be things. Anyways, let's talk about some of the songs. My least favorite song on here is hmm, Within You, Without You. It's always been my least favorite. It's just a complete Indian song. I think George Harrison's other complete Indian song is way better. It's on the next album I'm going to be covering. There's also a reprise of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band right before the ending closer, which is many people's favorite Beatles song, A Day in the Life. Spoiler alert, it's not mine. I'm sorry if I offended people by saying that, but this is just my personal opinion. There's also songs like Fixing a Hole, Getting Better. There's 1964, Lovely Rita, those Paul McCartney pop songs. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, Being for the Benefit of Mr. Kite, and Good Morning are John Lennon's, um, what's it called? Psychedelic hits on here, except for many people don't like Good Morning, Good Morning. Personally, I do. The cut up tape loop effects on Being for the Benefit of Mr. Kite are really great. And then, fun fact, John Lennon doesn't like Good Morning, because he thinks it's a filler song since he just wrote it about a spirit. Yeah. The Ringo song on here is really fantastic, with a little help from my friends. Many people know the cover version of Joke Rocker, but the Beatles originalized that. Fun fact, the ending chord, Ringo had trouble singing, because, he's not really like a high or a long note singer in the Beatles' career, wasn't really at least. His solo career, I haven't really dug into his solo career that much. I don't know why. All of everyone's solo career, his is like my least favorite. Although I have listened to some of the solo career songs and I thought they were okay. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, the main track is a rock song by Paul McCartney, a hard rock song. I mean, at this time, everyone wasn't saying how happy he was, because many people he didn't like that. But that was on the White Album that happened. This is the last major album release to happen on the other label, Parlophone label. Now, the last song I have to talk about also, When I'm 64 was written when Paul McCartney was 15, so that's really remarkable. The last song I have yet to say anything about is She's Leaving Home, and I really enjoyed this song. I like the fact that Paul McCartney and wrote the verses and then John Lennon wrote the chorus. I like John Lennon's backing vocals with Paul McCartney in the main vocals. Paul McCartney's vocal range really shows off here. There's a lot of Paul Dead rumors on here, Loki, to be honest. So, number 3, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. A little bit overrated, yes, but still a really good album. On to number 2.
Who is it for? All the
So my number two is Revolver, and if you haven't been catching on, these I'm only ranking the UK ones because that's the ones I have on vinyl. This this cover is Revolver. They were planning on doing a movie to support this album, but they didn't end up doing it because they didn't get any good ideas in '66. They also didn't film a movie in '68. Oh wait, never mind. '69 it was. In '70. The songs on here are like even more spectacular than on Sgt. Pepper. There's Taxman, Love You Too by George Harrison, as well as I Want to Tell You. All those songs are fantastic. Paul McCartney, yeah, these songs like great songs like Good Day Sunshine on this album, and For No One on this album. While John Lennon had some of my favorite songs on this album. Yeah, I'm Only Sleeping, She Said, and Your Bird Can Sing, which are my favorite three on this album, along with For No One and Love You Too. Overall, this is the Beatles' most experimental album, and my favorite part of their experimental era. Overall, this album was like classic. The album cover was made by Klaus Vorman, and then this is made in the Rain slash paperback writer music video, which I really recommend. Those They're really well edited, and the first colored music video that the Beatles would actually release because they released all of their uncolored music videos before the Help movie came out, and then that was in color, so they just did everything else in color. And then, of course, we get back to the thick Parlophone label vinyls. This is another Parlophone release that I have. Revolver, I mean, it's also a little bit very depressing way for me. The Beatles are really like my favorite band. They were my favorite band for a year, and I'm getting back to them more and more as I listen to more and more rock music, and I just keep coming back to them because they were the pioneers of rock. Anyways, number two, Revolver. Now on to number one, and you all know what it is. Even how that my favorite album ever released is this album right here, Abbey Road. Abbey Road is a fantastic piece of art. There is not a song on here I don't like. I mean, I guess Her Majesty is that song, but it's only a 27-minute track, and I actually still quite enjoy it, so I can't say I straight up don't like a song on this album. Paul McCartney hits hard with songs like Maxwell's Silver Hammer, Oh Darling, and almost every song on the medley. Songs like You Never Give Me Your Money, She Came From the Bathroom Window, Hidden with Rocks, Solid, what, along with Carry That Weight, which has a four-piece harmony, but mainly written by Paul McCartney. Paul McCartney also wrote The End, which is not the end as well, because he wrote Her Majesty, which was mainly supposed to be in between her Me, Mr. Mustard, and Paul. John Lennon hits with the psychedelic hits because, as well as the hard rock songs, come together. The almost 8-minute fantastic song, I Want Your Shoes So Heavy, and three medley songs. Another more psychedelic song, Sun King, and then two rock heavy songs, Me, Mr. Mustard, and Polythene Pan. George Harrison gives us two of what many people say are the best Beatles songs in Something and Here Comes the Sun, which are hard rock and then acoustic, nice acoustic sweet tunes on here. And Ringo gives us his final Beatles writing credit, Octopus's Garden. Also, look at this album cover. That is classic. And that is also classic. Also, that apple sometimes appears here, sometimes appears here. You know, that apple moves around, but it doesn't change color on most presses. This was my first record I ever collected that I didn't already have due to my dad collecting. This is really awesome. I had this on CD, but it was just a library on paper sleeve, and then of course you got the Apple label in. Except for now, there's like this plastic part over the Apple label, so that was pretty awesome. As you can tell, I've been listening to this album now a lot, more than any other Beatles album, and I have to say, I haven't gotten tired of hearing any of the songs on this album. Also, fun fact, Her Majesty almost gave me a heart attack, because after the end, I'm like, oh, there's an extra track. But then the opening chord of that song just came roaring in, and scared me crapless. So number one, Abbey Road. So that was all 13 of the albums. Right. Mm. Tell me, tell me what you think I should rank next, and stay tuned for tomorrow's video, aka Monday's video, the best albums of 1966. Peace and best blessed day. Bye.